You have to ask yourself the question, why are so many individuals unbanked in this country?
Many of our families still store their money underneath their beds and refrigerators.
You can take it for granted, I at least did. In the area that I grew up in and the area that I live now, there's a bank on every other corner.
I was lucky to grow up in a family where my parents helped me open a passbook savings account.
When we talk about poverty, we think about lack of food, lack of clothing, but I think it goes a little bit beyond that.
When you're at a high school, you're almost just thrown out there without knowing anything about money.
We are living in a financial world, so students have to be familiar with accounts and credit cards and savings.
I'm scared about college because of the financial aspect of it, you know. I don't want that to have me go to a college that I don't really want to go to just because of, money.
I think the Curie branch makes it possible for students to learn to be responsible for their own financial security.
This is a real bank. They actually have real transactions. Whatever transactions they do here are the same transactions they can do over at the main bank.
Instead of just having them work as tellers or in a back room, we are conducting classes for them at the same time in investments, risk reward, how to buy a house, how to set up a budget.
And even the students that aren't the student bankers, that's my school. We have a bank in our school.
I think one of the important things in education is, is relevance. Why are we here? Do people respect what we're doing? Is what we're doing real or worth our time?
Simply because we have a bank here, you can learn about accounts, you can learn about the mainstream financial products on a hands-on basis.
So few of our students that before Cardinal Bank came here used a bank. They all went to check cashing places. And we try and hit the students when they're freshmen, tell them how many expenses they're going to have when they're seniors.
This is how much you're going to spend on prom, and this is how much you're going to spend on graduations. We will go to classrooms and give presentations and tell the students that how much it was important to bank.
I always try to motivate the students to go as far as they can. The sky's the limit.
This bridge between the private and the public spheres, they have to happen. It's good for both sides, but it's good for the communities.
It involved banks and schools and regulators all working on the same project.
The donors and Park Federal Savings made a considerable financial commitment to make sure that this was a bona fide bank.
The Chicago Public Schools are making an investment in terms of the lease arrangements and the use of their faculty.
I think the Shriver Center is a key player in bringing us a project like this to a larger level.
Through Michael Frias at the FDIC, we've had an opportunity to present about the Curie branch and Mitchell Bank branch at conferences and meetings around the country.
We're in the Floreciente neighborhood. In Moline, we're a town of about 44,000 people, and Floreciente has approximately 2,000 people living in it, and 900 of those are children. 90% of Floreciente is Hispanic.
I grew up in the neighborhood. I know how tough it is for kids, and It's very, very important that I give back.
I know when you first say it, people sit there and they go, a bank and a Boys and Girls Club? And you're going, yeah, think about it. And once they do and realize the education and everything that can come out of it and the positive impact of, banking the whole community, it really has some great significance.
I think I'd get a lot of experience from that and maybe go to college for it.
I think it will be very, very positive for the neighborhood and should be an impact for cleaning up the neighborhood as far as having small businesses get loans.
It's going to be as relevant here as it is in Chicago or Milwaukee or any place else because the needs are the same. The needs of the community are the same.
You have over 10 to 12 million households nationwide that are unbanked. A large number are low and moderate income families, predominantly African American, Hispanic.
Actually, a currency exchange was just built across the street from our school. And just seeing that, it's like, why would you put that across the street from a school?
And if you're outside the banking system, it's very difficult to build assets and accumulate wealth. So this is particularly important in a community where you have a high percentage of families that are unbanked.
A lot of the immigrants that we deal with come with a very deep distrust of banks. You develop that trust by working with other agencies in the area. You can't be an island out there.
So by establishing this program, we're not only telling the students to bank, but their families as well.
We hope they'll choose Park Federal at some point, but if they don't and they're smarter about how they use financial services, that's good for the neighborhood. Stability is good for us.
It really is a signal to the community that we're not just, throwing money at a problem. We're not trying to buy our way into the community, but that we are part of this community. And that the success of the school, the success of the students is our success, and our success as a bank is their success.
Oh, it's a great opportunity for the students and for the whole school just to get experience of how a bank works, and for the students and for the whole faculty and staff.
I've known Alejandro since his freshman year. Just to see him as a student banker go out and motivate people to get accounts.
He's probably our #1 success story at this point, in that he graduated from high school, is going to college locally, is still working part-time at the bank.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Do you want me to write a table for somebody? Under consumer loan? Yes. Do you have a nice day?
You too.
Okay, before I worked here at Park Federal, I worked at a Dunkin' Donuts. I was a teller, and then they're cross-training me to be a savings counselor.
I believe the bank has encouraged me to push myself further.
I've had to talk in front of people so much because I would never do it before.
It kind of feels good when people come up to you and ask questions.
Like with all the work experience that I have, I think my resume stood out the most out of other students.
And I received a lot of scholarships mainly because I put as my curriculum that I was president of a bank. So how many high school students can say that?
First of all, I want to save the money for my education.
My first choice is Loyola.
I'm going to Northeastern University.
The University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign.
The University of Chicago.
I think I'm going to do a double major in accounting and business management.